안녕하세요 여러분. 저는 리나입니다. 저는 레바논 사람입니다. So recently in Lebanon on August 4, there was a huge explosion at the port of Lebanon. They say it's almost 4,000 tons of nitrate ammonium that caused the explosion, and it was due to a neglect from the Lebanese government that left the loads of this explosive materials at the port near the houses of civilians, and it led to the death of more than 220 Lebanese so far, and a lot are still missing under the destroyed buildings, and more than 5,000 were injured, and more than 3,500 became homeless. There were huge fires in Lebanon that killed people and animals and one of our most beautiful forests. Thanks God, my family is all okay and they are safe. Even though we live in Beirut, the only damage was just materialistic damage, so it was not a big deal for us because it's only material. Everyone is safe.
Your family lives where the explosion happened?
Yeah, because we live in Beirut, we are not near the explosion. It takes 20 or 25 minutes by car to drive, but still, because the explosion was so big, it was heard to Cyprus and Syria. They heard the explosion. So can you imagine living in Beirut? No, first they said that it was a fire, and there was a video documenting that it was a fire because these explosive materials were at the same place where some fireworks were saved. There was a technical in the building and there was a fire, so the fireworks were on fire and they exploded. Then it led to the explosion of everything. But everyone knows, like the Lebanese now, their eyes are open and they know that there's a big chance that it was not just fire and natural causes. Maybe it was intentional, no one still knows. And we waited for our government to declare anything like who was responsible for this explosion, because of course, obviously we know you are responsible for it, but still there was no answer, so we could not tell for sure who's responsible, what was the reason. This bride, she was only mentally and emotionally affected, not damaged. But the other people who lost their kids, who lost their husband, and I saw there was one woman, she lost her husband, her cousin and her brother the same day, and she was carrying them in the coffin. So this is just one example of the people who've lost so much. Of course, there's no one who can ever replace them. Like money cannot replace them. Even if you fix their houses, build something new, give them a chance to go and immigrate to a better country, nothing will just erase this horrible experience. The government is doing nothing. They didn't even go on national TV and apologize for the incident. They didn't show us their compassion with the people who've died. Why? Because no one they know died. None of them died or someone important to them. The only thing that is giving the Lebanese people hope now is other Lebanese people who are helping them and the helps that they are getting from the other countries. And by the way, Lebanese people are getting help from other countries, financial and medical help. All the other countries, they refuse to give the help directly to the government. They are giving them literally to the people. So they are giving them to the Red Cross, to the hospitals, because they know that the government is not gonna give not even $1 to these people. They spent 30 years stealing our money, and now they seized all our money from the banks. Like if you go now to Lebanon, you cannot withdraw all your life savings because the government took it. They spent 30 years stealing our money and leading people. More than 55% of Lebanese people now are living in extreme poverty. Can you imagine? Extreme. So they are below the line of poverty. Who is the reason? The government. You can see, so simple, you can see now in Korea. Of course there are poor people, but the government are giving you the basics. You have good transportation, you have electricity 24/7, you have clean water, you have fast internet, you have amazing medical insurance. Do we have that in Lebanon? People die at the doors of the hospitals because the government does not give them good medical insurance. People are not taking their salaries. They are not giving them their money, their savings. The minimum is not available. First, when the explosion happened in Lebanon, it was not just an assassination of a political person, because this happened to us in 2005, very frequent. So I thought, okay, after this assassination, there's gonna be war again, because we've lived war more than once. But then I talked to my family and they started sending me like their pictures, and everyone was panicking on all the family groups. So then no one knew how much explosion, how much the impact was big. But for me, as an expat here and as one who is living so far from my country, I started, of course, crying for at least 4 or 5 days non-stop, no sleep, no eat, nothing. And I felt so much guilty. As a person living so much far from my country and someone who loves his country so deep, you feel so much guilty that you cannot do anything. All you can do is just watch the news and check on all your friends and all your family and just keep on contacting them constantly. But the fear of the guilty feeling will always kill you, because you would say, okay, I could have done something, like I can help them clean the street, I can protect my family and console them and just help them in anything. But just all we can do here, just feel sad, of course, at first, but just try to help them, maybe give them aids, donations from people, and stay positive. What we've been through is so much and is so hard. As I was saying, actually I was only mentioning the negative things because these are the fact, of course. They are not negative, they are just fact that we need to get over with. What happened to us these past 30 years and even before 30 years during the Civil War, there's always hope for a better. But I still believe definitely with the power of people and with the power when they unite together, everything is possible. You can see now from the small things. There's no one to clean the streets after the explosion, but the Lebanese, they are gathering themselves and they are cleaning the street. They are giving each other food, clothes, free houses. So of course, there is hope for a better tomorrow, but not now, just in a few years. I just want to say first, as a Lebanese citizen, I would like to thank everyone who participated in spreading awareness and the message about Lebanon during this explosion. All the influencers, the celebrities, and of course, just people like me who spread the word about how much this cause is important. They collected donations from all around the countries and they gave it to the people directly. So we appreciate it so much and we thank you from our heart. We will never lose hope. We've been through so much, through so many wars and economic clashes. We can rise again. I have so much trust in Lebanon and the Lebanese people. Thank you.